See, our today's topic is the scoop. What is this scoop means to you, and why how it is helpful for the Hadoop system. So now we have to see what actually this scoop is. So the basic purpose of this scoop is only to transfer the data from the SDFS to the MySQL and MySQL to the SDFC, SDFS, not the SDFS. So something that is, this scoop is known as the import and export agent for the data between the SDFS and the relational database. It may be the MySQL, Oracle, whatever you have installed in your system. Why we need that? Suppose we have created one database into my MySQL database. Now what I have to do? I want that same data should be imported into our SDFS. Okay, because I don't want to write the same data again and again. So I want to simply import that data which is present in my RDBMS. I want to import that data to my SDFS. Okay, then we will do our work. Whatever the work we are need in the our Hadoop cluster, we can process that work. Then later on, if we want, we can export that data back to the MySQL. So that is the main purpose and the motive of the scoop. This scoop is simply known as SQL to Hadoop and Hadoop to SQL. So how, what this actually scoop is? What is a scoop? So we can define the scoop as the simply the tool that is designed to transfer data between Hadoop and relational database servers like SDFS and the RDBMS database. This scoop is a tool which is the open source framework that is licensed under the Apache Software Foundation, like the other open source foundations, open source software. So basic use of this scoop is only to import and export the data from the relational database, that is the RDBMS, to the SDFS. This is the only work of this scoop. How this scoop works? So on the screen you may be able to see one figure. The very left hand side, here we have the concept of the database, that is the RDBMS. Now what is happening here? Simply here we can use any of the database, whatever we are familiar with, that database we can use. So here I am here we have selected the database, that is the RDBMS. This RDBMS of be any type. It may be MySQL, it may be Oracle, or it may be Portuguese SQL, along with any database. The people who are familiar with the any of the database can use the that in your scope. Now how this RDBMS data will be transferred to this SDFS? This is my work. We have to implement in the case of the Hadoop. So for that we cannot directly import and export the data from the RDBMS to the SDFS and from SDFS to the RDBMS. So for that purpose we need one tool, that is the mediator between these two. So here the scoop is that tool which is used to either import the data from the RDBMS or either export the data from the RDBMS. Now we have to see how to import the data and what are the different steps we should require. So here the first one, scoop import. What is this import? The scoop import tool imports the individual tables from the RDBMS to the SDFS. Means whatever the data we want to import from the RDBMS, that can be imported to the SDFS by making use of the scoop import tool. Here the data will be, each row in the table is treated as a record in the SDFS. Means in the case of RDBMS, if we have the table having 10 rows, then that each and every rows will be treated as a record in the case of the SDFS. That is the same concept. There is nothing to worry about. Now similar to the scoop import statement, we have the scoop export statement. The working of this export statement is almost opposite to the import. That is, here this export tool is used to export the data from the SDFS back to the RDBMS. Now, what is the syntax of the import statement? How we can write the import statement? So, we have to discuss that. Now,
If there is a log data, then
what
okay,
we have
okay.
to do, we have to see what is the syntax of the scoop import statement. How the import can be done. So, what is the syntax? General syntax for the import data. So, here when we install successfully the scoop, and before going to install the scoop, our SDFS cluster should be working fine. Then only we can work with the scoop. At the similar time, your MySQL database should also be installed on your virtual machine or the Linux or Ubuntu. Then only we can get the data from there. It doesn't mean that your data is present into the Windows OS and now you are going to export that data. So it is not possible. So here what we have to do, what is the syntax of that scoop statement? The syntax of the scoop statement is simply on the terminal prompt, you simply type the scoop, then import, and then here you have to specify the generic arguments. So what will be the generic arguments that we will see? Okay, so first now we have to see one example that in my RDBMS we have three tables. The first table that is named as EMP, second table that is the EMP add, and third one is the EMP contact. Now what we have to do? We have to simply, this is my table. Here this EMP table is having the employee ID, name, designation, then salary, and along with the department. This is my first table. This is the second table, that is the employee add. Now employee contact is the third table. These all three tables are present in my MySQL database. Okay, now what I have to do? I have to import that all that data from the MySQL database into my SDFS. So how to import that data? So for that purpose, we have the command that is the scoop import. What do you want to import? So this is simply the line break. Don't go for this one slash. You can write all these four lines into a single line only. So import scoop import, after one space, then you have to write this dash dash connect. Why? Because this specified that you are going to connect. And where do you want to go connect? So you want to connect to the JDBC, that colon local host, then user DB. Whatever the database you have created in your MySQL database, you have to specify the name of that one here. So this is, I think, this is very much clear, the people who is working for the JDBC connection in the Java. Now after this connection, what you have to specify in the same line, you can specify, or you can specify in the next line, that is the username. So what is the username? That by default username for the MySQL is the root. Then after that, here the password is also optional, but
True.
here you have to
Optional.
specify that the password, then whatever the password of your MySQL, you have to specify over here. Then now a question comes, what do you want to import from the MySQL? So we want to import one table. Okay, so I have to specify over here that table. And what is the name of the table? So here the name of the table is the EMP. Okay, so I have to specify here the name of the table. Now what is this M and what is this value? Could you tell me something about this M and one? No.
Might be a number of records and the
No,
row.
no, 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 no. This is the simply M is the mapping function. Okay.
Okay.
And here I am specifying the mapping, that is the one. Mapping value will be one, and here I am not specifying any reduce. Okay, reduce function. So while we are going to see the example for this one, we can see that uh, it will start from the map 0%, 100, 0%. Okay. At the same time, the mapping function will continue to 100%, but the reduce function will be only 0%. Why? Because we are not specifying any reduce function. We don't want any reduce function in this scoop. Okay. And this is the number which specify the number of the mapping function. The mapping sample we have seen. Na? So this is the scoop statement. We have to import a statement in the case of the scoop, that is used to connect to the MySQL database with username and password. Then it will take and retrieve the import the data from this EMP table. Okay, this is the syntax. When we are going to see the example, then we can see that. Now after this one, what we have to do, see, once your data has been successfully imported from the MySQL to the SDFS, now I want to verify whether my data has been imported or not. So for that, how to verify? So for that, what we will do, I will go to the Hadoop directory, then I'll type fs file system. Then this command, that is the cat command, is used for displaying. What we have to display? I have to display this emp employee table. Inside that, if something is happening, then that store, the value will be stored in that one, the part dash m dash, here star is mentioned, here it will be 5 times 0. You remember that one, Arvind?
Which one? This one.
We can see our imported data. Okay, once you will verify this import data, and if it is correctly imported into your Hadoop file system, then this will be this was the data which is imported from the MySQL. This all the data in the case of MySQL is not present with the comma, but in the case of SDFS it is by default separated by the commas. Okay, so the example we will
Okay.
see. Now we have to see some other features of the scoop. By the import command, we have imported a single table. Now if we want to import all the tables that are present in the MySQL, we have the tool that is known as the import all tables. Okay, that is also similar to the import only. Import is used to import a single table, but import all tables command, that is the tool, is used to import all the tables that are present inside the MySQL, and it will import into SDFS. So the syntax you might be able to see here, the syntax is almost same, only certain changes over here, that is import all tables has been added here. How that is going to import? So this figure is going to tell about the import statements of the process of the scoop. Here SDFS is present, map reduce below the map function is present, because here I have not specified any reduce function because we don't want any reduce function. So from here, from the database, it is going to import the data into the SDFS, and this is my scoop client. So we will see one example, then only it will be cleared. Now here we have certain escape sequences that are similar to the previous one, whatever we have learned in my in your technical knowledge. Either it may be in the C, Java, and whatever we have learned. So this one, the slash b, it is used for backspace, slash n, that is the new line, slash r, that is the carriage return, slash t tab, slash single quote. So all are similar to that one only. Okay, now after importing, if we have imported our data and we have seen the import tool, we have seen the import all tables tool, now it's the time to see the export tool. If I want that my data from the SDFS should be imported, exported back to the MySQL, so for that command, for that situation, we have the export tool. Similar to the import, the syntax is also same, only instead of import, now I have to use the export keyword. So see the syntax, scoop, export, and then there will be a number of the arguments. The working that is represented here, the export command. Earlier in the case of the import, this database was on the top and this was on the below part. Now it's just reverse. Okay. So what are the different jobs of the scoop? How to do the different jobs in the case of the scoop? So in the case of scoop, we have this command, that is the create. This is one of the job. How to create job? We can create the job by double dash create. How to verify the jobs? So for that we have to double dash list. How to inspect that one? Then for that we have double dash show. Execute job, we have the double dash exe. So for each and everything, the one job has been specified by the Sqoop peoples. After specifying the jobs, we have seen when we go for the practical implementation of the some of the data, then we can use this one. Now we have one more important tool that is known as the eval. This is used to execute the user defined queries, okay, against the database servers. How to evaluate means how to execute the user defined queries. So for that purpose we have one tool that is known as eval. When to use this one? When we want to execute some user defined queries in the database. So in the SQL query we have seen the DDL, that is the data definition, DML data manipulation statement. So we have the lot many different types of the data. So all the data will be having some queries performance. So all the queries can be performed using this eval tool. So what is the syntax for that one? Syntax is also same like the import, only a single changes. So whatever the syntax changes over here, you may be able to see that scoop eval, then the argument lists. Now we have to see one select query. How the select query evaluation is working in the case of the scoop. See on the screen, you may be able to see one figure. Here we have this scoop SQL query. Here what we are doing, a scoop. Now I have to evaluate or execute one query. So for executing any query, we have the command, that is the tool, that is the eval. So scoop eval. Then what we have to do? First we have to connect to the MySQL. So for connection, we have this one. Then this you specify the username. After that, in the last, what I have to do? I have to execute a query. So for that purpose, we have this job, that is a dash dash query. This is the job. Now this is the job which is going to be implemented by the scoop. And what is the job? My job is to select a star from the employee table, giving the limitation, that is the 3. What does it means? I think if you are the people who is working for the database, it is clear, it will be clear to you. So here select a star from employee, simply specify select the whatever the data that is present in the employee you have to display. And limit 3 means you have to give only the top 3 rows. That is the meaning of this limit 3, top 3 rows. So see here on the case of the output, you may be able to see only the 3 rows of the employee tables. So that is the select query evaluation, which we have seen in the case of the scoop. Similar to that, we have the insert query also. Only what we have to do? The remaining things will be same as the scoop only. That is the scoop select. Here scoop evaluate, because we have to execute the query, then connect to the database. This is the username, and dash e is the used for inserting the data. And how to insert the data in the MySQL? That is the insert into employee values, and whatever the value we have, we can specify that. That the query part will be same as the MySQL only. Only how to insert into the MySQL using the scoop, for that purpose we have to use the eval tool, then connection, that we are familiar with the scoop. So I think once you try a single query, it will be easy for you. That one. Now after this insert query, we have to see certain other parts. So see here on the MySQL, this is here I am using the database. Whatever the database we have present, we are using this one. So in the case of scoop, we have used the database here, the DB. So I have to move inside the DB of the MySQL. So here I am using the DB, and now I am seeing here the result. Select a star from the employee. So it will list us the total query with the modification one, that is the new one. Whatever we have inserted here, insert into employee value. So this is the ID 1207 Raju. So see at the last we have the 1207 Raju, that is the newly inserted. Okay. Now similar to the some evaluation functions, we have the list database. What does this means? This list command is used to either list the tables, whatever the tables which are present inside the scoop, it will be listed by the list table followed by certain number of the arguments. So this is the sample query. A scoop list tables, then connect MySQL DB and username. Here what is happening? This scoop is going to list all the tables present inside this MySQL user DB with the having the particular username and password. So I think this will be cleared because there is nothing to understand in this one, because almost all the things are same. Only whatever we are doing to our job, that job is going to change. The list job, evaluate job. So here our question for the theoretical chapter has,
Can do the export
yeah.
also.
So we have to see now how to install the scoop. Okay, this scoop can be installed as same as whatever we have installed the pig, hive, something like that. So what we have to do, we have to first configure the Ubuntu or the Linux Mint, whatever you have configured into the virtual machine, or is it directly, no problem. Then after that we have to set the Java. Then after that we have to make use of the Hadoop file system. We have to start the Hadoop cluster. How to start the Hadoop cluster installation we have seen already. Now after that what we have to do, we have to simply download the Sqoop version. The Sqoop version will be available for the SDFS versions. So suppose I am using the SDFS 1 version, then we can go for the Sqoop 1 version only. We are going for the Hadoop. If we are using the Hadoop 2 version, then for that also we have the Sqoop. Okay. So how to install the Sqoop? This Sqoop can be either installed directly from the terminal or by simply downloading from the apache.org site. Then from that we can download the Sqoop versions and keep into our home directory, and then we can set the import and export path, then we can use that one. So for downloading the Sqoop from the terminal, we have the command sudo apt-get install Sqoop. Okay, this command will be automatically start the installation of the Sqoop. Now the same time we have seen that we are going to import and export the data from the DBMS. That is the MySQL example we have seen. So how that MySQL data will be converted and will be contacted to the Sqoop? In the case of Arvind, we have when we are dealing with the JDBC and
Right.
Java, means the MySQL and the Java using the JDBC. For that time, after putting the writing the program, we need one file, that is the connector file for the MySQL or for the Oracle. Each and whatever the database we are using, for that we require one connector file,
Jar
jar
file.
file. Yeah, connector jar file.
MySQL connector jar.
Yes.
That is the driver jar.
Yes, yes,
Basically,
the driver jar. That is the
jar is
connector. So
yeah,
same jar we
connector jar.
require over here also. Okay. Without jar, without that jar, the driver we cannot be able to contact to the MySQL database part. Okay. So that we have to download the MySQL connector also along with the that is the Sqoop. Once you download each and everything, it will be fine. Now, where to put that MySQL jar? So once you download the MySQL jar, it will be in your download folder or it may be present in anywhere. Simply extract that jar. When you extract that jar, one jar will be there, that is known as the MySQL connector Java something version will be there. So copy that jar file inside the Sqoop library file. When you open the Sqoop folder directory, inside that library folder will be there. You have to put the MySQL jar inside that Sqoop library. Okay, then after that you have to specify the Sqoop home, similar way we have seen in the case of the others. Okay, now we have to, yes.
Okay, fine.
So for
Hadoop
installing,
2.0.
yes, if you are working with the Hadoop 2 version, you download this one, this tar file, or if you are working with the Hadoop 1.0, then download this one, whatever the link, it will be mentioned in your PPT.
Just send me this link. I'll download this
I have already
course
sent.
1.
Check it into the
Okay.
that one. Simply for downloading Google, type in the Hadoop 1.4.5, not the Hadoop Sqoop.
Mm.
Then from that you will get this link. You have to select the tar file according to your Hadoop version. If you are using the Hadoop version 1. Then you have to select this one, or if you are using the Hadoop 2. Version, then you have to select this one. It will be around 2.6 MB file. Okay.
Right, right. So
Once you
here also a scoop whom we have to set scoop home.
once you finish downloading this one, you have to download one more file that is known as the MySQL connector. Yes, MySQL connector.
So MySQL should be at there in the Linux environment, na? That
Yes,
should be
yes,
there
yes,
also.
yes, yes. Once you type in the Google MySQL connector jar, you will get this page, and from this page you have to select this Windows, Microsoft Windows, not
Can you ping this link now?
this one. Wait 1 minute. I'll send. So from here, what you have to do? You have to select the platform independent. Okay. Then after that,
Okay,
you
okay.
will get the jar files. This one, either the 5.3.1, two jar files is there. You may be able to see this one. So from here, you can download
We can.
the first one only. There is no problem. Once you download these two one, what you have to do?
Mm.
When you download your
Okay,
MySQL connector Java and Sqoop 1.4 further, that is the Hadoop
okay.
2.0 version alpha 1, that is because I am also using the Hadoop 2. Version. So put that into your home directory. Then after that, what you have to do,
Mm.
you know that very well, that extract this MySQL.
Expected.
Yeah,
Mm.
extract this MySQL over here or anywhere. So in my case, see, I have
Mm.
extracted over here. From this you will get a lot many files like this one. You are getting this one.
Okay, okay.
So from here,
Mm.
what you have to do, you have to check this one. MySQL connector 5.1 something, one jar is there, na? The,
Mm.
the third last. You have to copy this jar file. Where you have to copy? You have to copy this jar file into the Sqoop library. Whatever the
Okay, where
Sqoop,
is the scoop library? Mm.
so whatever the Sqoop version you are getting here, and that is the 1.4.
Okay,
So the name is complex, so I have simply renamed as the Sqoop only. Like here, Sqoop.
where
Open this
where
Sqoop
it is?
file. So
Mm.
that Sqoop tar file is there, na? Tarball file Sqoop.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
So you have
simply,
not extracted it? You have not extracted?
I have extracted and I have renamed this Sqoop file as only Sqoop, not the 1.4 something like that. Okay.
Okay, 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 okay. Ah, yes,
So
yes.
copy that
And now
MySQL, yes, copy that MySQL connector jar file. Where you have to copy? Open this Sqoop file, open this library file, whatever you are getting here, library file, and paste over here. In my case, I have pasted here this one, the MySQL
mm,
Java, MySQL connector
okay,
Java. So after pasting this one, if you don't paste this one, provide this one. When you are going to run the program for the Sqoop, you will get error that the driver code something is missing, something like that. Okay.
okay, okay,
So you have pasted that one. How to install the MySQL into the Ubuntu? So for that we have the
okay,
command. Simply type the command sudo apt get one space install, then one space MySQL dash server. The command
okay.
whatever you are able to see it on the screen, that is the install MySQL dash server. Make enter, it will ask you for the password. Then you have to provide the password. In my case it is already installed, so I am not going to install this one.
So can you ping?
Now we have to start the, means simply install the MySQL. For that command we have the sudo apt install MySQL servers. Once you make enter, it will ask you the system password, and then it will, you don't have to
Okay,
provide anything at that time. In
it
the
is
middle,
asking for it is asking for the MySQL password.
password.
So
So at that
should
time
I give
whatever the
password?
password,
I should
yeah,
leave it.
yeah, you have to give one password, that will be your password for your MySQL. So make enter the
Okay,
password, it will ask you for the means reconfirmation. Again same password you have to enter, and it will take around 1 minute. Then that it will be installed. Okay.
Okay.
After
Okay.
installation of this one MySQL, what will be the next one?
Mm.
How we should proceed
Okay.
this one? So for that,
Okay.
simply open your cell directory by the command nano
Mm.
bash
Mm.
rc, how we have done it
Mm.
previously. Okay, and it will, this page will be entered. Now at the last, whatever you have done, leave that all. So simply open this one, and here what you have to do, a scoop export a scoop underscore home equal to, you have to give the value where your scoop file, whatever the extracted
Okay.
you have a scoop is the present, you have to specify here along with the path. The same way how you have done for the pig and hive, something like that, na? So same way you have to do it. Okay, then after saving you
Just
have to,
copy it.
yes, after saving you have to come out of this one. Now I am going to check whether my scoop has been installed or not. So how to check that one? So for that we have the command simply scoop version. I'll wait for that one. Here it is telling me something like that it is not exist. Why? Because in my case I have not started the HDFS. That is the Hadoop. I have not started. So I have to start each and
Oh,
everything.
okay.
Okay. So I'll open one terminal and let it be complete.
You installed Zookeeper also, or it is required?
No, it's
Zoo.
not in the scope. It's in the some other part. It in the H base. Okay, that we will see in the next class. Okay.
Okay, installation of HBase. Okay.
Yes. So see here, in it is showing that the some files I have does not exist. Why? Because I have not started the Hadoop cluster.
HDFS.
Still,
Okay.
I may be able to get the Sqoop version here. Sqoop 1.4.5 that I have installed that one, right? I have
Right. Right.
installed this
Right.
one, the Sqoop version, so I am getting the Sqoop this one. Now what we have to do? I have to simply open one new terminal, and from that terminal I have to log into MySQL. So simply open one terminal. Here what you have to do, you have to type the command to entry into the MySQL. For that we have the command MySQL one space dash, that is the user. For user we have the command u. What is my username? By default username is the root, so
Root.
I have left that one also. MySQL one space minus u, and type the username, then one space, again one dash, then for password, whatever the password you have entered, so you have to give the same password. In my case this is my password, so I am giving this one. Now see, it is inside my MySQL. Are you able to see this one?
Yeah. Yeah. In my case, also my SQL command prompt has come.
Yeah.
So
So
now we
here,
can create the
now you are,
MySQL
now
database.
you are inside the MySQL. What you have to do? If it is the first time, you have to check it out. What are the databases present over here? So for that command, same command, whatever we are using the MySQL, same is here. Okay. First time you will get the information MySQL performance. Now for a particular case, for the case of a Sqoop, I have created one database, that is the Sqoop. How to create that
SQL
database? For
database.
that we have the command
Create,
create
create database.
database. Create database, and you have to specify the
So,
name of the
yeah, database.
database. This is the command for creating the database. In my case, it is already created, so I will not go for that. Now, after creating,
And then,
I want
mm,
each and everything should be stored in that database. For that purpose, I am using the scoop. Okay, by the same use scoop. Now, I am inside the scoop directory database.
right.
I will check how many tables are present here. So for that we have the command show
So table.
tables. Okay, the same. So
Mm,
here I have created
and
one employee table. Don't go for the spelling of this one, because by mistake I have given the means incorrect spelling. Okay,
right, right.
okay. So don't go for that spelling. So
So we
here,
can create the table now.
yes.
Create table
So
command.
earlier it will show the empty one. So now what I have to do? I will create one table by the command the create table. Specify the name of the table, something like employee. Whatever I have given,
Mm,
you can use any one. Okay. So by that you can create one command. Okay. You can create one table. Now I am creating one table. For use people's create table person. What will be the data present here? So first will be my person ID. Person ID that will be of integer value. Then again person name I'll take, that is the varchar of size 20. Okay. Now again I'll take one more column, that is the salary, that is of the integer type. This is the way to create the table, and this is the same way. Here I am getting
Yeah,
some error. You have error in the SQL. Check the manual that corresponding to MySQL version of the okay. Here it is telling me that I have used some where spelling is mistake.
yeah, varchar char.
Yes. So by this command, the table person will be created. So see here, you will get on the successful creation of the table, you will get query 0 something like. Now I'll check what are the data
Insert
present
command.
inside this one. So for that we have the command select
Select.
star from person. This
Table.
is my table I have created here. I'll check. So here initially there is no data, so it is showing empty set. Now I have to use the employee tables. Similar, this is the way to create the table. So you can create the table employee how I have created. Now I have already created the employee table, so I will go for the spelling mistake only because I am not going to modify that one. So this is my table name. Here you may be able to see the employee ID, name and salary. Okay, and here I have inserted the sum of the data into the table. So for that purpose, how to insert the data into table? So for that purpose we have the command insert into where.
Table name or value?
Yeah, so insert into the table name. What is the name of the table? You have given the values. Okay, and
Yeah.
you have to specify the what you have to specify. You have to specify the values. So first is the integer ID. So I'll give you simply here, I'll give the 10. 10 is my employee ID. Name, I'll give the name as the Hadoop. Now the name is given Hadoop. Now I'll specify the salary. Salary, suppose it thinks 7 lakhs, something like that. You can specify any value, there is nothing. Then simply enter. Now it's showing that query okay, one row affected. Now I'll check whether my that data is inserted or not. So see here the last one, the Hadoop with employee ID 11 has been inserted here. Okay. Now this is MySQL data we have done here. What we will do now, I have to open one new terminal. Okay, leave that MySQL terminal, don't do anything. I will simply go to the Sqoop. How to go to Sqoop? So for that I will import that data from the MySQL into the SDFS. So how to import? So for that we have the import command. For using the import command you have to write first like this, Sqoop import. Then first I have to connect. So for connecting, we have this one connect. What we have to connect? We have to connect the JDBC. From where the JDBC? That is the MySQL. Then how to connect this one? So this one I think you people know better than me because you are the persons who is dealing this one. Now here this is the local host colon 3306. That is the by default port number of the MySQL. Okay. Now here I have to specify the name of the database, whatever database I am using right now. So I have created the Sqoop. So I will write here the Sqoop. Okay. Then what I will do? I will simply after username. So username with double dash username. What is the username? Username is root. Then double dash password. What is the password? You have to specify that one. Okay, then what you have to do, you have to import a table. What is the name of the table? So the name of the table is a spelling mistake employee. So check it out in your case, don't simply copy this one. So now I have to specify one map reduce function. And how many map reduce function? One map reduce function. So this is the way minus m one. Then I'll simply make enter. Let's see what will happen. Don't go for these warning messages because that warning message is not for this Sqoop, it is from the some other part. Just wait for the final result. what it is going to tell. Here the first line, it has given me the running Sqoop version 1.4.5, something like that. Here it is showing some value that executing SQL query, select a star from employee as limit 1, something like that. It means that, and here it is also saying the Hadoop map reduce version, that is the Hadoop 2. I have given the name for the Hadoop folder. It will be depends upon your Hadoop installation directory. Now we have to wait for the completion of this one.
was
Yeah.
not able to make
Uh,
connection.
for working with the Hadoop, we have to first start all the daemons, then only it will be able to connect that one. So how to start that one? So in my case, Hadoop 2 point version is installed, and I have given the folder name as the Hadoop 2. Okay, don't get confused. Inside that Hadoop 2, I have to go to the sbin directory. Now what I have to do? I have to start the Hadoop cluster. So first one,
All dot sh.
yes. So no, in case this case, I'll make use of this one, separate one, because here some others are
Okay.
also present. Start. First, I will
Okay.
start the data node. Let's check the data
Hmm.
node. It says starting data node. Yes. Now I'll check whether the data node has been started or not. So for that we have the command, that is the JPS. So after starting the Hadoop cluster, the same command I will use right now. I'll check whether it is starting this time or not. I think something is going. Just wait for it to complete. After
Hmm.
the here it will execute the map reduce function. Map will be 0 to 100 and reduce will be only 0. Why? Because we have not given the reduce function. Okay, so the reduce will be
Okay.
always 0. After
Zero.
that, at the same time, when you are getting this prompt, now here only you will get the data, whatever the data present in your table, it will be given here
Hmm.
only by the separated of the
Okay.
commas. Okay.
Okay. Then we want to see it, then cat command we can use
Yes.
it.
Uh,
In cat
otherwise,
command, what we have to do?
yes.
Like
Or
we have the
otherwise,
syntax.
yes, yes. Or otherwise, you can use the command. You can use the Hadoop command. Hadoop simply file system. Then you have to type the command ls. Okay. What this command will give
Okay.
inside the file system? If there is any file, it will give you the list. Okay. So here, just wait if it is giving the list of the employee or not, because the employee is already present. If I have not deleted that one. See here, you may be able to get this one. Found one item. Here, the employee is present. Right? You are seeing this one? After
Yes, yes,
getting,
yes.
yes, after getting this table means employee has been previously successfully inserted over here, imported here. Now I want to, what? I want to simply see the output. So how to see the output? For that, I have to go inside that one. By cat employees, where that employee is present. So employee, in that employee we have two folder. The first one is the success, and second one I discussed that time, the part m and 5 times 0. So inside this file only your data will be present. So I'll display that one. Hello.